Alright, so today we'll be changing the power steering pressure line on a 2001 Jeep Wrangler 2.5 liter. To identify the liter size of your Jeep, you can always look under the hood. It will be specified. They also make 4.0 of this model. The high pressure line that we'll be changing today is connected right here. It's just, you can see it's kind of pretty rusted out, and then it connects all the way down to the gear. I don't know if you can see that. I have a fan in the background pumping heat through using propane. But yeah, so we're gonna have to access this bolt here, the top bolt, remove that tubing. But first we have to do a couple other things, including draining this reservoir here so we don't make a mess. But let's get started. Again, this is for informational purposes only, and you know, if you are planning on doing this yourself, I'm not a mechanic, but this is how I'm doing it. I'm just sharing it, so good luck to you. All right, next up, I'm going to siphon the power steering fluid out of the reservoir, just to, you know, hopefully limit the mess. Using either, you know, you can use a turkey baster, I've seen some people do, or I got this little pump that I'm going to be transferring it into this milk jug. So that's the next step. Alright, so now that we have all the power steering fluid removed as best we can, I'm next going to unscrew this bolt here. I'll get back to you with the exact size. And then one down here that we had talked about previously. Still a little concerned of how I'm going to access that, but I did want to mention that there was a cover on this Jeep here, on this Jeep at this spot, in this opening. To remove that, you'll know what I'm talking about if you have a Jeep. There's 2 screws down here on either side and 2 screws over here. Remove those, and then you can take that off, and you'll be able to access that lower end of the pressure line hose. Awesome. So I will see you back when I remove this. Alright, so I'm having a little trouble undoing this bolt here. As you can see, it's pretty rusted. Trying to help with that. Let me grab a hammer and just gonna kind of wing it. Again, I'm not using the proper tool. I'm using a wrench rather than a line wrench, which is just a little bit of a modified wrench. I gotta be careful because if I, you know, since I'm not using the line wrench, this can disconfigure the screw or the nut here, and then I won't be able to get it off. But you know, when you're going on a budget, sometimes you just gotta improvise. So I'm gonna tap this back and forth until I can get it loose, and hopefully that'll work. Wish me luck. Alrighty, so I was able to loosen this up pretty easily just by tapping it back and forth. Next step is there's a cord here. If you can see that just unplugs. So I gently pulled that out. And just give you some reference, this is the new part here. We're gonna have to transfer that piece over, it looks like, that is currently on there. Once you start working on this, you'll understand what I'm saying. But yeah, this is my new piece here. I'm gonna see if I can access this bottom part down there, unscrew that, and take the hose out. So I'll see you once that is complete. Alright, so the top wrench I used was 5/8. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you take my word for it. It's 5/8 wrench for the top. For the bottom, I'm using 11/16. Now, if you can see the tight spot right here, I was able to position that just right, doing lefty loosey, righty tighty. I'm going to be working with a minimal amount of room as I'm going this way. So I'm hopefully going to be able to get this loose. We'll see how it goes. All right, so I ran into a little snag. Not using the proper tool. Started to, erode that, not a lug nut, whatever the hell you call it. Started to strip it. That's the proper term, I think. So it's a tight spot. I'm not going to be able to get this out without that tool. So I'm going to go to my local automotive store and see if we can get that 11/16. What is it? The bottom pressure line hose. So I'll bring the other part with me and just make sure we have a good fit. I'll see you then. All right, so back from the store. Luckily, I was able to find this little contraption here. This will hopefully allow me to undo this screw. So basically what it is it is a line screw. As you can see, it kind of comes around. You're gonna have to fit it up and over before you unscrew it. And it has like this other little contraption. Cost $5 for this piece and $18.99 for a set of wrench heads. So we'll give this a go and wish me luck. All right, so that whole setup didn't work. It was a waste of $20. But what I was able to do is I'll show you. Underneath here, there's a flap. Here, let me get the light. This flap here, it's kind of hard to see. Was held in by a little tab there. I just pulled that down. As you can see, the pipe's right there. And I was able to take the 11/16 wrench and fits nicely with just enough room. Come on. I can get that in there. Well, you can take my word for it. I was able to get this loose. There we are. And turn it back and forth. So I'm going to finish unscrewing this, unscrewing the top, and we will go from there. It's going to be a little bit messy, so I do have a pan. Just a regular oil pan for any drippage. We'll see you at the next clip. Alright, so it's just about done. I'm just going to finish this. Unscrewing this. I'm not sure how pressurized this is. From my research online, just through YouTube, you can, when we re-add the power steering fluid, you can flush it by turning back and forth the tires. There's some videos on that, and I'll try to do an example once we get there. As far as specific power steering fluid that you'll need, I was able to retrieve a service manual that indicated for this particular make model is that you need a petroleum-based, not, I think it was ATF4, not transmission fluid, but power steering fluid that is petroleum-based. I basically went on Napa.com, was able to type in the make and model of the vehicle, and they retrieved product specific or make and model specific power steering fluid that was in fact petroleum based. If you look on the was the safety data sheet that they supply, it will indicate on there that it is a petroleum based power steering fluid. I'm not really sure how much that matters, but better safe than sorry. You're able to do what the manufacturer recommends. Hopefully it'll save you some time down the road. This is taking a lot longer than I had expected though. Come on. So you don't have a lot of room to work with while you're unscrewing this. But that's how I'm doing it, just slow and steady. Once this finally comes out, I'll go and do the top, and we'll meet back up then. Alright, so I was finally able to get this done. Lift it up and take this out. You see it starting to leak. I don't know how well you guys can see that. It did take a little bit of prying to once this nut was free. And you had to, there's a washer holding that in, so you do have to pry it up a little bit. Still, just because of the room space right now, I'm not able to get that all the way out, but it is loose and there's not too bad of leakage. But reposition this, and there we go, one step further. I'll see you on the flip side. So that is now free, and we got the other piece hanging right here. Now I'm gonna go towards the top, get my light set up. This is already loose, I might be able to do this by hand. Let me try, I'll get you on camera. Yep, so that's not too bad. And voila, perfect. That looks pretty simple to just thread on through, and we'll put the new one in. Make sure you change the, what are they called? O-rings on the ends, the tips of the pressure hose, and make sure it doesn't get stuck, the old one in there. So you're just going to replace those. We'll go from there, and then we'll fill it up with power steering fluid, and that'll be it. So I'll see you on the next clip. Alright, so before I start installing the new one, I realized that there's some type of sensor here. This black piece needs to come off and then be connected to the new pressure line. So not really sure how to do that. Probably gonna end up breaking this, and luckily this is just you can't really see, but there's two prongs in there that connects to a wire out there that I disconnected in the beginning of this video. So I don't think it's gonna be too expensive if I end up breaking this, but you know, if I could save a couple bucks, that would be awesome. So I'm gonna try and unscrew this. It looks like this might be able to be unscrewed. If not, I'm going to probably break this off. Hopefully not, but I'll let you know how I got this off. Just one moment. Alright, so back again. This right here does not screw off the black piece. It is this bolt looking thing here that threads into this bottom piece here. As I'm trying to unscrew this line right here is still rusted out, and it's just not very strong, so it keeps bending back and forth. But I'm going to continue to work this because it's about $52.99 online. If I can avoid spending that, I'm going to try. So I'll let you know how it goes. I'm just going to keep working it back and forth, and hopefully we'll be able to get it loose. Alright, so I got smart and I was able to clamp down where it's threaded into here with this top part here, and we were able to successfully unscrew it. And we'll go put this on our new piece, install the new piece, flush the fluid, and we'll be good to go. Alright, so the specific power steering fluid I got right here, it's Wrangler Napa. Again, you can go on their website and they'll probably direct you to the right one. Next thing I'm going to do is I've installed the O-rings that were supplied with this part. I got a little here that I'm just going to lubricate them with. And the other one. So it's just a crumpled up piece of paper with that steering fluid in there. So I'm just getting them lubricated. That's one way to do it. It says you want to use clean fluid before you install. This will, help them from cracking and then leaking. But next up, this is the top part. Going to feed the bottom part down through, thread it up, and we'll go from there. And I'll see you in the next clip. So kind of running into the same problem as the beginning. This can be a little bit of a pain to get up and over that lip. Might end up bending the metal a little bit, but you gotta just kind of keep working at it, and once it's in, we'll be able to thread it through. Just wanted to point that out. Almost there. Alright guys, so I was able to disconnect the top, so this is no longer connected up here. That is completely free. That allows me to then navigate this piece down here and get it up in a little bit easier. I can't do it with one hand right now, but you can see now it's kind of dark, but take my word for it. If you do the bottom piece, when you're installing the new pressure line, you want to do the bottom end first. That way you'll be able to kind of easily, it'll make it a little more easier for you. But I'm going to finish threading this in now that I have a little bit of wiggle room to get up and over that hump. And then I'll reinstall the top. Alright, and I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so that worked like a charm. I also jacked up the suspension a little bit just to see if that'd make more room. I don't think it really did, but it's still, I just haven't taken it down, but it's maybe, I don't know. I don't think so, but anyways, that bottom piece is cinched in, and I'm now going to take the top part that's already fed through here and position it as such, and just make sure you align the threads, and just gonna, that's good enough. I will actually tighten it down in a bit off camera, but gonna reconnect the sensor. That's pretty simple to do. Little click and we are done. Next stop is refilling the power steering fluid, having all that air then cycle through. That way it doesn't cause, I guess, problems down the road. You're just gonna have a closed system. Just air and power steering fluid have different compression rates, so that can, I guess, cause, I don't know the exact mechanism, but that can cause problems down the line throughout the system. All right, let's do it to it. All right, awesome. That both the bottom and the top are now screwed in to hand tightness. Again, the manual service does have specific torques that you're supposed to do, but for all intents and purposes, I'm just gonna do it by hand. I do have well, I had 4 screws, and I have 3, but I'm going to reinstall this here. Each screw, 2 on each side, and then we will start flushing the power steering fluid, which is right there. All right, so the reserve power steering fluid reserve is now topped off. I got 2 jacks on each side, or sorry, 2 jack stands and 1 jack. Now I'm going to, that'll just take pressure off the tires for when I turn them back and forth and cycle that power steering fluid through the pressure wires. Probably going to get some leakage as this reservoir may or may not overfill. Air will be coming up through this is the my understanding of it. That might force, that initial pressure to have it overfill, drip down before that air bubble can come up and out. But going back and forth, easier with each turn. The ignition isn't on, but I did turn on the ignition. I did not turn over the engine though. The power steering fluid itself seems to be draining a little bit. Haven't had to refill it yet. I'll probably top it off after I show you just what I'm doing here. One thing I wanted to point out is if you guys have a light up underneath the hood, when you're working on it and your car's in the shop, I didn't unplug this, so it was on overnight because this is a 2-day project. First day research, now I'm actually doing it. But battery might be drained, so hopefully that's not another hurdle that we run into. But I'm gonna continue to rock back these tires a few more times and almost there. Alright, hopefully you can hear me over the engine. I turned the engine on, continued going back and forth with the wheel. I noticed some cracking sounds that slowly dissipated over time. They got less and less frequent, and the reservoir did drop, a decent amount. So it is cycling through. I'm going to continue to do that for a few more times, just so I'm not on the road and having to refill this or keeping my eye on it. I mean, you should anyways. After doing this, maybe keep some power steering fluid in the back seat with you for a few trips, and just checking it periodically. But so far so good. Hopefully we'll be able to get it inspected, and anyone else that partakes on this, I wish them the best of luck.